இதெல்லாம் இருக்குது வாத்தியார். श्रीकांतो मातुलो यस्य जननी सर्वमंगला जनकः शंकरो देवः तं वन्दे कुञ्जराननम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनव्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः अज्ञानान्तर्गहनपतितान् आत्मविद्योपदेशैः त्रातुं लोकान् भवदवशिका तापपापच्यमानान् मुक्त्वा मौनं वडविडपिनोः मूलतो निष्पतन्ति शम्भोर्मूर्तिश्चरति भुवने शङ्कराचार्यरूपा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणतोऽस्मि मुदान्वहं सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतिं शारदा शारदाम्बोजवदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं क्रियात् राकाचन्द्रसमानकान्तिवदना नाकातिराजस्तुता मूकानामपि कुर्वती सुरधुनी नीकाशवाग्वैभवं श्रीकाञ्चीनगरी विहाररसिका शोकापहन्त्री सदा एका पुण्यपरम्परा पशुपतेः आकारिणी राजते योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसूप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। Namaskaram to all. So yesterday we looked at what is the meaning of Vedanta, what is the need or the purpose of entering the Vedanta Shastra, what are the granthas or the source of Vedanta, what is a Prakarana Grantha, and what is the place or the greatness of the Viveka Chudamani in the various granthas related to Vedanta. And we looked at some introductory verses of the Viveka Chudamani. One of the major points that we highlighted yesterday, which Bhagavad-pada says, is that knowledge alone is going to reveal the ultimate truth and nothing else. This needs a bit of clarification or background. When we look at the world that we are all living in, the common principle that the world functions on is action and the result of action. It is karma and karma phala. When we go deeper into the understanding of karma, what prompts us to do karma? What prompts us to do action? In majority of the cases, it is desire. Desire to gain something, desire to protect something, desire to be something. So this basic desire is what triggers action. Now, what is the cause for desire? Where is the desire coming from? See, a desire invariably means that there is a gap. There is an incomplete place from which a desire arises. If you want to be something, it means that you are not something. That is why you want to be something. If you want to gain something, it automatically means that you don't have it. That is why you want to gain something. So, the basic reason for desire is that you are assuming that there is some incompleteness, something that is not complete, something that is not fulfilled. There is some gap. That is why the desire is arising. This perception of incompleteness or unfulfillment is causing the desire is causing the action is causing a result. Now, is the result bridging that gap because of which the desire arised? If it was bridging that gap, after doing some action, you should stop doing any more action. But that is not the case. Till the end of our lives, we are constantly doing various desire-motivated actions, which means that the actions are not necessarily fulfilling a real gap. The gap is a perceived gap. It is an apparent gap that you are feeling, which is giving rise to actions. In our lives itself, when you look at the various points, say for example, you have achieved something great. You have taken a lot of effort and achieved something. Those few moments of achievement, you will feel completely fulfilled. You will feel completely complete. There is a fullness that is there inside you. In those moments, there is no desire or action or anything, because you are just feeling happy that this is achieved. For those moments, you just want to be at peace. There is a peace and fulfillment inside you. But the very next moment, another desire arises, and that fulfillment is interrupted. Which means that the unfulfillment or incompleteness that we are experiencing seems to be more apparent than real. And there are moments at various points of time in our lives where we sense this fulfillment or this completeness. But it is very, very momentary. It is only for a few moments and again interrupted by another desire. So, very few people, they go deeper into this understanding of karma, and they realize that karma by itself cannot give fulfillment, because it seems to be giving fulfillment apparently, but the very next moment another unfulfillment has come into you. So when are you going to get 100% fulfillment through karma? When that analysis goes deeper and deeper. This is why the Upanishad says, Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat nasti akritakritena. That Brahmana, or that one desiring of knowing that highest truth, Pariksha lokan karmachitan. This loka, this world which is full of desire motivated actions, that wise one analyzes it very deeper and evaluates it and examines it very deeper and realizes that this is not giving me eternal fulfillment. I am not going to get fulfilled at any point of time. Without fulfillment, I am not going to be at peace. I'm going to be always being tossed between, as we said yesterday, between sorrow and happiness. So when this person develops then a dispassion towards all actions, because the person knows that action is not giving me the fulfillment, he wants to know what will give that fulfillment. Tad vijnanartham, to know that special knowledge, sa gurumeva abhigachet. That is when the individual approaches the Guru. So the Guru is the guide who will tell you how to get eternal fulfillment. How to, these few moments of fulfillment that you have in life, how do you stretch it and make it permanent? What is the method, the approach of doing that, and why are you not able to do that today? So, sa gurumeva bhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. So the reason for the disciple or for this knower of truth, the person who wants to know this truth, the reason for that person to approach the Guru is for him to know what is it that will give me permanent fulfillment. That permanent fulfillment which will lead to eternal peace and happiness inside me, what is it that it will? Which means that that person has already examined and found that anything in the world that we are doing is not going to give me that eternal fulfillment. So for us, even as we begin this journey of Vedanta, this is the first step where we need to start examining all the activities that we do and find out, is this activity really giving me the fulfillment and happiness and peace that I'm desiring? Or is it leading me to another action and another action and another action, which is creating a web of actions out of which I am not able to come out? This is true examination or evaluation that we have to do through our own intelligence. So when this kind of a disciple is approaching the Guru, now begins the place where Bhagavad-pada speaks about what are the qualities of this disciple. What kind of a disciple will want to ask these questions or enter into this inquiry? So the qualifications of this disciple who goes to the Guru, Acharya says, Vivekino viraktasya shamadi gunashalinaha mumukshoreva hi brahma jnana yogyata mata. The one who wants to know this ultimate truth must possess certain qualifications or eligibilities. The one who wants to know this permanent fulfillment, what are the prerequisites? What are the things you have to do before of knowing this truth? This is what we call as sadhana chatushtaya. It is very famous and popular in Vedanta Shastra that the qualification for Vedanta is sadhana chatushtaya. 4 kinds of qualifications. The very first qualification is viveka, discrimination. Nitya nitya vastu viveka. As I just mentioned now, the first qualification is to understand what is giving me that fulfillment and what is creating an illusion of fulfillment but not really giving me that fulfillment. In our day-to-day activities, when we start analyzing our activities, desire-motivated activities, let us think for ourselves. We believe that some activity will give us prosperity, some activity will give us name, some activity will give us a position, a power in the society. Why do you need that position, power, name and prosperity? Because you believe with that position, name, power and prosperity, you will be more happy. You will have a much more better inner state and being than what you were before. What we need to analyze is, after we have got that position and power, have we become more peaceful than what we were before? Have we become more happier than what we were before? Or Have we landed into more stress? Have we landed into more pressure, and much more of our happiness has gone down and depression has increased? This evaluation or examination is the characteristic of a Viveka Buddhi. So Viveka means to constantly analyze what we are doing, what we are thinking, what we are speaking every moment, and say which of this is really worth. It's going towards that happiness or that peace, and which of this is actually taking me away from that position. It is not very difficult. If you apply enough concentration and enough effort is given to that, it is not very difficult to analyze and examine this. So Acharya says the first one is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. Now I have got that knowledge. I have been able to discriminate between what is it that gives me fulfillment and what is it that does not give me fulfillment. What should I do next? Ideally, I have that knowledge. I should slowly start bringing me away from those activities that do not give me fulfillment. But on the contrary, we find that we are not able to pull ourselves out of those activities. Though we know that it may not be giving me that happiness or fulfillment, still we are getting attracted to those activities. Still we are getting caught in those activities again and again and again. So that is why the second qualification Bhagavad-pada says is Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Viraga, which means Viraga or Vairagyam. See, the term Vairagyam is used in many languages differently. In some languages, Vairagyam means revenge or hatred. In Shastra, in Vedanta Shastra, Vairagya is not mentioned from the perspective of hatred. It is mentioned from the perspective of dispassion, indifference. You don't care. It is not important to you. It is not significant to you. What is not significant? The results of those actions which you are doing, which is giving you some great results on the world, those actions which you have through your Viveka Buddhi found out that these are not giving me ultimate happiness or peace, deciding that these actions are not significant to me, they are not important in my life, and hence I must move away from these actions, consciously, deliberately moving away from them, is Vairagya. So that is the second major qualification, which is Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Viraga. Now Acharya explains this. He says, Tad Vairagyam Jihasa Ya Darshana Shravanadibihi. Whatever you are seeing and listening and perceiving in the world, whatever of those you believe is not contributing to my peace and happiness, Jihasa, to just give it up completely. Or there is in other Pada Bheda, there is Jugupsa, which means you are not, it is not even something worth for you to take up. It is not even worth for you to take it ahead. You don't want to even think about it. See, why Vairagyam is important? First, Viveka, as I said, Viveka Buddhi is important. If you don't have Viveka, you don't even know whether the activity that I am doing is really an activity that is contributing to my welfare or not. So that is the first thing. Vairagyam, why it is important is, as I said, even if you have Viveka Buddhi, if you don't have Vairagya, you will get caught in the same trap again and again and again. For example, I am taking up an activity that apparently is going to give me some great position in the society. But I know that by doing that, I am going to lose a lot of my happiness and peace that I have today. Because I am going to be pulled more into activities which is not going to give me happiness. So that is the Viveka Buddhi. But what if you don't have Vairagya, what will happen? Somebody will come and tell you, if you don't take up that position, it is a great opportunity you are missing. It is a lost opportunity. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Nobody gets this. Only 0.0001% of the people will get this opportunity. So you are attracted. You are being pulled towards it. Though you know you have done all the Viveka Vichara, still your mind is not steady in that because it is getting attracted because you have not developed a firm Vairagya towards that. You have not developed a firm indifference or insignificance towards that. See, it is something like this. There are several examples given in Vedanta Shastra. For example, if a person is trying to cross a river, there are no boats. It is the night time, but there is moonlight. So there is a very dim light that is there. And the person wants to cross the river. There is no raft or boat available, so the person is really looking for something that the person can hold on and go across the river. He desperately wants to cross the river. Now he sees something floating on the river surface. He believes that the thing that is floating is actually a log of wood. A huge log of wood is floating. That is how he perceives it. The moment he perceives it like that, he starts walking faster towards the river bank because he has to catch hold of that log of wood and cross the river. But when somebody tells him from afar, a person who is a local person, he tells him that don't get fooled, it is not a log of wood, it is actually a crocodile that is appearing as a log of wood. The moment he realizes that, he sees that this is actually a crocodile and not a log of wood, how much ever you tell him that it could still be a log of wood, you could still cross it, that Vairagya Buddhi has come inside him because he has firmly understood that this is going to cause him danger. This is not going to take him across and he could become the next dinner, lunch or breakfast of that crocodile. So inherently that conviction has come inside him, and that person, how much ever you convince him, will not go anymore towards the river bank. So Vairagya means you are developing that firm conviction. Your entire system has believed that this is not going to be helpful to me. Only then and then will you stop engaging in those activities. If Vairagya is not very strong, it will not help you cross. And that is what Acharya will say later. So this is the second major quality that is needed for us to realize the truth, which is Vairagya. Now for this Vairagya to become firm inside you, there are 6 qualities Acharya speaks of. This is called the Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. The 6 qualities, which is Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. We said that these various things that you are pulled towards. Now what is really pulling you towards these things? This is where the Shastra begins. When you analyze deeper, say for example let me take a very simple example. You are running a very high fever, or you are on the brink of getting a high fever. You are naturally interested towards ice creams. Ice cream is your weakness. When you see it is your weakness, the moment you see ice cream, you cannot remain without having a taste of it. So what happens is, even though you are on the brink of having a fever, the Vishaya, that is here the object that is enticing you, your senses are not in your control, they are still going towards that ice cream, and you are convincing yourself, what will happen if I have one sip of the ice cream? Is the fever going to immediately come? You will start convincing yourself and still go towards it and have that ice cream. That means, even though you know that it could be something that will cause you trouble, the senses are being pulled towards the Vishaya. So the sense objects are the primary source of problem in the world. These various Vishayas that are there are pulling the senses in different directions. So you are having the eyes being pulled in a different direction, You're having the ears being pulled in a different direction. You're having your taste buds being pulled in a different direction. So all these senses being pulled in different directions, everything is enticing you to move outwards into the world. So what I said earlier, though you have Viveka Buddhi, though you know that this is wrong, still you are not able to implement it because you are not able to control your going out and the attraction or the influence of these sense objects. So Shama is to detach the mind from these various Vishaya rasas. In Sankhya, it says, when you speak about pramana, how do you get knowledge? Sankhya speaks about a logic. It says, how do you come to know of something? The Vishaya or the object is first seen by the sensory organs. That is why the sensory organs are called the Jnanendriyas, because they are giving the jnana or the knowledge of the different objects, like your eyes, your ears, your nose. They are giving you some information. So the Vishayas, their knowledge is coming to the Jnanendriyas, and the Jnanendriyas are then relaying these back to the Manas. So the Manas then relays it back to the Buddhi. The Buddhi then says what is this object and gives a definition, but the mind is the one that throws out the various options and tells you what is it to be fearful, not fearful, and all those different thoughts about that object is generated in the mind. This is how the knowledge is created. So if I have to stop my engagement with the Vishayas, there are two steps here. The mind is getting engaged with the Jnanendriyas. The Jnanendriyas are getting engaged with the Vishayas. I need to cut both of these. So mind getting engaged with the Jnanendriyas I am cutting is called as Shama. And the Jnanendriyas getting engaged with the Vishayas, the cutting is called as Dhamma. So through Shama and Dhamma, I am completely cutting off the engagement of the mind with the Vishayas. Because the moment the Vishayas enter the space, the mind is again going to start churning. The Vishayas are the ones that are pulling. As in the Upanishad it says, in the Ratha Rupaka, as the Upanishad speaks about the entire body as a Ratha, it speaks about the Vishayas as the different paths and the sensory organs, the Jnanendriyas, as the horses that are being pulled in these different paths. So the chariot is, if there is a chariot and it is being pulled in 3 different directions, where will the chariot go? Similarly, the mind is being pulled in different directions by the various Vishayas. So Shama is to cut off the mind from the Jnanendriyas, and Dhamma is to cut off the Jnanendriyas from the Vishayas. So the moment these two are done, in a way, the outer world has stopped impacting you to a large extent. That is Shama and Dhamma. The one who has attained Shama, who has got established in Shama, is called as Shanta. So the word Shanti or Shanta comes from the noun Shama. The one who was immersed in Shama is Shanta, because the moment this engagement is cut, the mind is peaceful. The Shanta or the Shanti is coming to the mind when this engagement is cut. So the one who has Shama is Shanta. There is peace. Dhamma is Danta. So Shanto Danta, the one who has Shama and Dhamma. The third one, Uparati. Uparati is this Shama and Dhamma, while they are cutting off the mind from the sensory organs and sensory organs from the sense objects, there is always a possibility of this returning back. There is always a possibility of this coming into the picture again. So Uparati is to permanently disable. Acharya says, Bhyaanalambanam vrittehe esha uparatihi uttama. Bhya analambanam. Absolutely no dependence on the outer things. Vrittehe, all these various vrittis or these thought waves, having no dependence on the outer triggers. That is that is the highest form of uparati. That is to permanently disengage this engagement. Now, even after having disengaged, your mind has come with some purva samskara. It has come with some baggage already. You have come with some baggage already into this world. That baggage will start to act. What will happen? The world will throw various situations to you. Happy situations, depressing situations, different kinds of scenarios and challenges will come in our life. The moment we start reacting to these challenges, again the mind starts moving outwards. Because again it is being triggered by these various challenges of the world. It is not the Vishayas that are triggering now, they are the various situations in your life that is triggering now. It is again triggering the mind to start operating. So, how do you control these triggers? How do you ensure that whatever the situation happens, my mind does not get pulled into these situations? That is the quality of titiksha. Titiksha, one of the most beautiful definitions, is what you find in the Viveka Chudamani. Titiksha is basically translated as forbearance. You bear, right? You just bear all the problems and all the issues. But what happens in general when you bear something, when you are just bearing those problems, outwardly you are bearing those problems, but inwardly your mind is constantly agitated. Let us take an example. Let us take your boss has literally shouted at you in front of everybody. He has completely blasted you in front of everyone. You have to bear, you have no choice. Because if you react to the boss, then you are thrown out that very moment. So, by force, you have to bear. But what is going inside you? There is anger. You want to take revenge. You are going into a complaining mode. You are lamenting. All these things are going inside you. There is an aspect of self-pity, pathos, complaint, lamentation, revenge, anger, all these things are inside. But outside you are showing that you are bearing it because you have no choice. So Acharya says that is not titiksha, that is not forbearance. Because your mind is still agitated. So forbearance is sahanam sarva dukkhanam. You have to do sahana of all the dukkha. Apratikara purvakam. No pratikara buddhi. You cannot react. There is no reaction in you. There is no revenge in you. There is no attitude in you to revolt back and to give back. That attitude is not there. Apratikara purvakam. Chinta vilapa rahitam. There is no chinta, there is no worry. Constantly worrying about this, no. Nor are you lamenting or complaining about it. There is no vilapa. Sa titiksha nigadyate. Why is this titiksha important? See, in certain situations in life, you will realize that titiksha is the best approach because you are actually helpless. You cannot do anything. If you cannot do anything, why are you subjecting yourself to trouble? When you know that you cannot do anything, the best way ahead is to do sahana. Just bear it and go ahead. That titiksha gives immense strength. It gives immense confidence and courage. See, one thing that we need to know, and it is better that I mention it here, is that there is a false perception or misunderstanding that if you do study of Vedanta or all these things, or even if you attain Brahma Jnana, the highest of the truth, all the depression in life will go away. All the sadness of the life will go away. A light will come behind you and you will become something else. You will become a divine person. Let me tell you, none of this happens. Just because you have gained Brahma Jnana or anything, neither a light comes behind you, nor will the problems in life go away. In fact, nothing happens outwardly. There is nothing that is changing for that person. All the problems in life will remain as they are. What changes is your approach to those problems. That is what we must understand. Vedanta Shastra is not for changing the world. It is for changing yourself and changing your approach to the world. The problem today is our approach to the world, is the way we are considering the world and the way we are responding and reacting to the world. Vedanta tells you that this world is not worth reacting to. This world is not worth responding to. It makes you strong enough to go through all the challenges of life with happiness. That is the result of Vedanta Shastra. Vedanta is not going to give you any siddhi for you to change the problems. We must be very clear on this. If you are coming with those objectives, Vedanta is not the Shastra for us. So, that is why Titiksha is important, because here the main thing that Acharya says is bear. When problems come, just bear them without a slightest of complaint or slightest of agitation inside you. On what basis will we bear? You are asking us to bear. But what is our anchor? We need to anchor ourselves in something. What is it based on which we will bear? Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhya Avadharana. You believe the Shastra and the Guru. The Guru has told you, the Shastra has told you, your Ishvara, your Ishtadevata has told you, have belief in that. That means surrender yourself to that Guru, surrender yourself to that Shastra, surrender yourself to that Ishtadevata and bear. You know, in the terms of bhakti, we say, surrender everything to Bhagavan. Bhagavan will give you the strength to go through the problems. This is exactly what is said in Vedanta. If you are surrendering yourself to that supreme power, then leave everything to that power and bear whatever comes. So the strength for you to bear, the strength for undergoing titiksha comes from Shraddha. Because Shraddha is nothing but a form of energy. Yadevi sarvabhuteshu Shraddha rupena samstita. It is that same divine mother, that same supreme power that manifests inside you as Shraddha. It is another form of energy, that's divine energy itself. So that energy has to be awakened, and through that energy you have to get the strength to bear all the problems. And as a result of that, what happens is samadhana. Sarvada stapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvada. Tat samadhanam ityuktam. Natu chittasya lalanam. Samadhanam means your mind is not agitated anymore. There is no agitation of the mind. The mind has calmed down. The mind is not oscillating constantly between this and the outer world. Constantly getting pulled by the outer world. If somebody is triggering it, immediately gets into something. Those things have come down, have significantly reduced. That is called as samadhana. So these are the 6 qualities. Imagine, these are the qualities of the disciple. The disciple has still not attained the highest truth. The disciple is still going to go to the Guru. But even to go to the Guru, these are the qualifications. Because this Shastra of Vedanta is so subtle. It cannot be given like any other knowledge. It is not like any other science or any other knowledge. I can show you something. If it is an engineering subject, I can tell you, I can show you something physically and tell you, see this, do an experiment, understand for yourself. It is easy. But Vedanta is about yourself. It is trying to tell you something about you. It is telling you what is your possibility, what is your nature. So you have to go inside yourself. If you have to go inside yourself, what is the quality that you should be having? Because there are so many obstructions for us to go within ourselves. Even if you close your eyes for 5 minutes, your mind will automatically start going out. There is very little possibility it will start going inward. Because, and this is beautifully said in the Veda, it says, Paranchikani Vyatranat Swayambhuhu. Na parang pashyati antaratman. Your sensory organs, it is complaining, it is telling Ishvara that you are expecting us to go inside, but you only have placed all the sense organs that are going outside. So if you have placed them going outside and you are expecting us to go inside, how is it possible? So it is complaining back to Ishvara that you are the culprit. You are the one who have placed everything outwards. So all our faculties are outward going by nature. So to defy all that and to go inward, it is a big task. That is why we are saying this entire qualification is needed, because without this qualification, even if the greatest of the Brahmajnani is standing in front of you, you will not be able to get any Upadesha from him. Or even if he gives an Upadesha, nothing will happen to you. They say, they give a beautiful example of the Chintamani. Chintamani is said to be a stone. If it touches anything, it becomes gold. That is a mystical stone called Chintamani. So, in many Shastras, they say, Guru is a Chintamani. But the Shastras say, Guru is not a Chintamani. It's actually more better than a Chintamani, because when Guru comes in contact with somebody, the Guru makes the other person as another Guru. Chintamani, when it comes into contact with anything, it does not make another Chintamani. It only makes something as gold. But a Guru, when he comes in contact with anybody, he makes that person another Guru, who can then transmit this information or this knowledge to another person. But for that to happen, for that Guru and that Shishya, for that connection to happen, and for this Chintamani to work and make the another Chintamani, the Shishya also has to be the right Patra. It has to be the right, qualified, eligible Patra for this Guru's instructions to get absorbed. If that doesn't happen, then this Chintamani doesn't work. So that is why these qualifications of the disciple are extremely important. And after all of this comes the last qualification, which is Mumukshutva. Mumukshutvam is that intense desire to know that truth. Intense desire to come out of all these unwanted actions and unwanted things in the world which are not going to yield anything. You want to intensely desire to get liberated from all those and know that place which is going to give you fulfillment. Now, after explaining these qualifications, Acharya gives certain statements. He makes certain statements which are very beautiful. Because the automatic question will be, if after all of these qualifications I have to go into this, in most probability we will even give up the effort to start getting any of these qualifications, because each of them itself requires a huge effort for us to become proficient in that. If you have to be 100% in everything, then I am not going to pass any of these exams. Then how do I know this? So Acharya says, Manda madhyapa roopapi vairagyena shamadina prasadena guroho sa iyam pravruddha suyate phalam. He says, oh child, don't get disheartened. Just because I said all these qualifications, don't get disheartened and say that I don't have all these qualifications, what do I do? He says, even if these qualifications are manda or madhyama, means they are not 100% there. They are there in a very, very small proportion. Manda, or even slightly better proportions, madhyama. Even if that is the case, by the grace of the Guru, prasadena guroho, by the grace of the Guru, this will be given upon you. You will develop these qualities by the grace of the Guru. Here comes the beauty of bhakti. Here comes the aspect of bhakti. And Acharya brings this aspect of bhakti. He says, Moksha karana samagryam bhaktireva gariyasi. See, one approach, one path is for us to develop these qualifications. But when you know that these qualifications, it's a high, tall order to live up to, and you know that it is very difficult for you to get to those, the only other refuge is for you to just cry in front of the Guru and say, please give it to me somehow. If you go by my qualifications, I am not going to get this. It is only by your grace that I am going to get this. So please, by your grace, give this to me. That is bhakti. That is the stage of bhakti. So that is why Bhagavad-pada says, Moksha karana samagryam bhaktireva gariyasi. That bhakti is extremely important. Because through that bhakti, isn't it through that bhakti that Giri, a very unlearned and illiterate person, but who had immense bhakti towards the Acharya, Acharya conferred all knowledge upon that Giri, and that Giri became Totakacharya and composed the Totakashtaka and became the prime disciple of the Acharya. So if that was possible, it was only possible by the grace of the Guru. So we have to yearn for the grace of that Guru. So that is why he says, by that prasada of Guru, it is still possible to get. But he makes it very clear that without Vairagya, Vairagya he highlights as one of the most important of all these qualities. Because as I said earlier, even if Viveka Buddhi is there and Vairagya is not there, you will still keep operating in all those unwanted activities. Only if Vairagya comes in high measure, only if you start keep developing your Vairagya, will you start detaching yourself from things. If that detachment does not happen, how much ever you are doing spiritual sadhana, you will not come anywhere close to the final result. As long as Vairagya does not come and you don't stop attaching yourself to all these unwanted activities, the final result is not going to be anywhere in the near perceptible future. So that Acharya makes it very clear. Now, having said all these qualifications of the Shishya, now the Shishya is approaching the Guru. As I said earlier, the Shishya has examined the world enough. And after examining the world, he has come to the Guru to really understand that space that can give him fulfillment. And how does that Shishya come to the Guru? The Shishya comes to the Guru with extreme dispassion, high level of Vairagya. He is fed up of the world. He is fed up of all these unwanted activities, this constant action and result. He is fed up of that. So he wants to know what is that thing that can give him fulfillment. See, in the other Vedanta Shastras, there is a beautiful example given of a person whose head has been set to fire. If a person's head has been set to fire, what will be his tivrata in trying to search for water? What will be his intensity in to search for water? Will he keep again going back to doing different activities, or will he find what is my next source of water and run frantically, desperately, helplessly towards a source of water? That is the kind of intensity, that is the kind of tivrata this disciple is having to know that state of fulfillment, because he is completely fed up of the world and the intense trouble that the world is putting him through. Such a person is approaching the Guru. So he is approaching with dispassion, Vairagya, and he is approaching with humility, because he is wanting an answer and he is pleading for someone to give him the answer. So he is coming with extreme humility. He wants the answer somehow. So that humility and Vairagya are among the qualities that the Guru sees within the disciple for him to respond or give an answer to the Shishya. Now this kind of a disciple, Ukta Sadhana Sampanna Tattva Jijnasuratmanaha Upasidet Gurum Prajnam Yasmat Bandha Vimokshanam. So this kind of a disciple approaches the Guru. Now how should the Guru be? This is another important thing for us to know in today's world. How do we find the right Guru? If you go behind the wrong person, your entire life will get wasted. Especially in spirituality, in today's world, in Kali Yuga, it is very important for us to figure out who is the right Guru. If you are not able to find the right Guru, it is better not to have the Guru. Go by things that are proven. Go by the Shastras that are proven. The Bhagavad Gita, the Viveka Chudamani, the various Totra Granthas, various Ishvara Pratana, Archana, Puja. Remain at that level until you find the right Guru. See, our Shastra says, it actually tells us that you are not supposed to find the Guru. If you are having the right qualifications, the Guru will appear in front of you. That is the story of Arunagirinathar. When Arunagirinathar jumped off the cliff of the temple of Tiruvannamalai, the Guru came there in the form of Muruga and he gave him the Upadesha. So, you need not search for the Guru. The Guru will come to you provided you are the right qualified eligible Shishya. So, our efforts must be to make ourselves eligible. That is all that is there in our hands. The prayatna that we have to do is to develop these all qualifications that Acharya speaks to us about. That is all we can do, and we can keep expecting the Guru, yearning for the Guru, waiting for the Guru. That is all we can do. The Guru will appear when the right time comes. We are not supposed to, using our own limited intelligence, using our own limited buddhi, if you start getting behind somebody and that somebody is not the right person to lead you across the samsara, you will get pulled into more samsara. So choosing of the Guru in today's world is extremely important. So here, that is why the qualifications of the Guru is mentioned by Bhagavad Pada. He says the Guru must be Shrotriyaha, Avrijanaha, Akamahataha, Yo Brahmavittamaha, Brahmani Uparataha, Shantaha, Nirindana Ivanalaha, Ahetuka Dayasinduhu, Bandhuhu, Anamatam Satam. See, so many qualifications he is giving for the Guru. The Guru must be one who himself has got no desire. His desires have already exhausted. You know, there is a very funny, humorous shloka that says the Guru should be Shishya Vittapahari. If the disciple is the Shishya Vitt, he is the most eligible disciple, the Guru will be a Tapahari. He will remove the troubles or the problems of that Shishya Vitt. But there are some Gurus who are Shishya Vittapahari, who look at the pocket of the Shishya, who look at the wealth of the Shishya, and they want to confiscate all the wealth and the prosperity of the Shishya and not the problems of the Shishya. That is the false Gurus who are there, whose desires have not ended. They are full of desires. So when such a Guru is being approached, then only your Vitta and your peace of mind will go away. So that is why Akamahataha, says Acharya, that person himself should have exhausted his desires, that he himself should be a desireless person. And he himself should have known the truth. He himself should have known that ultimate truth for him to tell you or show you the truth. He also should not be another sadhaka who is also trying to travel the same path like you are traveling. He must be able to tell you the destination and the path towards the destination. And ultimately, that person should be Ahetuka Daya Sindhuhu. That person is not expecting anything from you. There is no expectation from the disciple. Ahetuka, there is no hetu. Daya Sindhu, he is full of compassion, because it's only because of his compassion, as we said yesterday, it is only because of the Guru's compassion that the Guru is opening his mouth and telling something to the Shishya. Otherwise, the Guru is already happy and contented. Why should the Guru tell anything to the Shishya? For what? Why should the Guru even open his mouth? The Guru is opening his mouth because he feels compassion towards that Shishya who is burning, who is suffering because of the world and has come to his refuge to ask him for help. So he is giving Sharanagati. He is giving refuge and protection to that disciple. So such is the Guru. To that Guru, the Shishya must do seva, must do service of that Guru, And when the Guru decides to give the Upadesha, the Guru will give the Upadesha. See, today, when we ask a question, we want the answer immediately. When we are going to a teacher, we are asking a question, the expectation is that the teacher has to respond immediately with an answer. That is not how Vedanta works. Because the Vedanta, as we said, is a Shastra of the self. So the Guru has to know what is the quality of yourself. Are you fit and eligible to go deeper inside you? So the Guru decides the right moment and the right opportune moment to give the Upadesha. Until that time, you have to wait. There is no choice. So that is why Acharya says here, Tam Aradhyam Gurum Bhaktya Prahva Prashraya Sevanaihi. Prahva Prashraya Sevanaihi means here you have to keep on doing service with humility and with total surrender and wait for the Guru to decide when to give Upadesha. At some point of time, the Guru will give Upadesha. When you are ripe enough, the Guru will give the Upadesha. Now, having approached this Guru, the disciple pours forth his sufferings, his problems, his challenges. He says, Swamin Namaste Nataloka Bandho Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdho Mamudhara Atmiya Katakshya Drishtya Rijvya Atikarunya Sudhabhivristya. He says, I am completely drowned in this samsara. I am drowned in these various activities which are not giving me any fulfillment. They are not giving me any peace, they are not giving me any happiness. I know that. But I am not able to come out of it. I know that very clearly, but I am getting drowned, I am getting pulled into it. I am burning inside. There is complete discontent in me. I want to understand that place and this world is not leaving me. What do I do? How do I come out of this? Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho sharanyam anyat nat aham na jane. I don't know anyone, I don't know any means of how to come out of this samsara, how to come out of this vicious cycle that I am caught in. Once he says this and surrenders completely to the Guru tells him, Ma bhaishta vidvan. The very first words of the Guru is that, don't worry, don't be afraid, O my child. Nasti apayaha. There is no danger to you. Samsara sindhoho tarane asti upayaha. There is a way. There is a method. There is a solution to your problem. Yaineva yata yatayosya param tameva margam tavanirdishami. And it is not a solution I have developed on my own. It is a solution that has been tried and tested by various Mahatmas over several millennia of years. It's a tried and tested method. So don't worry. There is a solution available, and that solution is 100% foolproof. It will definitely give you the result. So you can imagine when you are caught in a place, you are so desperate and helpless of finding a solution, and somebody is giving you the assurance that there is a solution and that solution will work and you will be taken out of the trouble. The kind of happiness that you will get is the kind of happiness the disciple gets when this assurance is being given by the Guru. The Guru says, Vedantartha vicharena jayate jnanamuttamam tena atyantika samsara dukkhanasho bhavati anu. The method is Vedanta vichara, is to inquire into yourself, is to inquire deeper into your very existence, and through that deeper inquiry will come the solution, will come the result to all your challenges. Now, once having given this assurance by the Guru, the Shishya is asking 7 questions to the Guru. Now he is sort of placated. The agitation that the Shishya had when he came to the Guru, he is sort of assuaged because the Guru has told him that there is a solution. Now he is become a bit calm, and now he is asking the questions to the Guru. The questions he is asking is, he is asking 7 questions. He is asking, Ko nama bandhaha, katamesha agataha, katam pratishta asya, katam vimokshaha, kosau anatma, paramaha ka atma, tayor vivekaha, katam edat uchyatam. He says, he is asking the questions of, what is really this bondage? See, my whole problem was I am being bound by these various karma and activities in the world. What is this karma? What is this bondage? Where does this bondage come from? I am not able to find that source. I am just bound, I know. But I don't know how this bondage came. And what is the nature of this bondage? How do I get liberated from this bondage? What is the way for me to come out of this bondage? Please tell me, how do I go about? So having said this, having asked this question, now the Guru gets on a deeper exposition of explaining all these answers to the Shishya. All this forms the main content of the Viveka Chudamani. Now, given the paucity of time, you can imagine that the shloka that I just mentioned to you is shloka number 49. And as I said yesterday, the total number of shlokas in Viveka Chudamani is 580. So literally 530 more shlokas are there. The only way for us to give a glimpse of it is to go through the overview. What do these 530 shlokas largely speak about? And maybe 1 or 2 shlokas that we will quote and we will see. So now the question is, to understand this bondage. We said Vedanta Shastra is an understanding of yourself. It is a deep dive. It is a going deeper into your true nature. So the Guru begins by explaining the true nature of the individual. And this analysis is one of the most beautiful and one of the sharpest of analysis that you can ever think of. An analysis of your inner self, analysis of your own being. You're analyzing yourself. There are 2 methods in which the analysis proceeds. The first is the concept of Sharira, the concept of the body. If we were to ask ourselves, what is the body? What would be our answer? Most probability our answer would be, this is my body. What you are seeing is the body. But that is not the answer. That is not the complete answer, because that is only half truth or part of the truth. Because what you are seeing is what is referred to as the gross body, Sthula Sharira. The Sthula Sharira has got all the Sthula Bhagas. Like Ayurveda speaks about the Sapta Dhatu. It classifies the body into Sapta Dhatu. Those Sapta Dhatus, which includes your Mamsa, your Majja, your Rudhira, that is your blood, your flesh, the bones, the muscles, the marrow, the reproductive fluids, all this put together, which constitute your gross body, that is called as Sthula Sharira. That Sthula Sharira is what we all see. So when you see somebody, what you see is the Sthula Sharira, the gross body. What is the nature of this gross body? The nature of this gross body is to be fat, is to be thin, is to is to be handicapped. All these are qualities of the gross body. These are all characteristics of the gross body. But is this all? No. Vedanta says go deeper. If you go deeper, you realize that there is another Sharira inside the Sthula Sharira, and that is called as a subtle body, and that is called Sukshma Sharira or Linga Sharira. This Linga Sharira has got various attributes. What are the attributes of this Linga Sharira? This Linga Sharira firstly has got the Pancha Pranas. It has got the prana, the breath, the Vayu, the Prana Vayu that is there is a part of that Linga Sharira. If you go even deeper, you have your organs of action and organs of knowledge. Your sensory organs and your organs of action. See, when you say, you might ask the question, when you are saying sensory organs and organs of action are basically your hands, your legs, your mouth. These are the organs of action or the karmendriyas. Jnanendriyas are your eyes, your ears, your nose. You might say, aren't these the gross body? Don't they form part of the Sthula Sharira? No, they don't form of the Sthula Sharira, because what is the proof of that? See, one of the biggest experiments that has happened about oneself has happened in the Vedanta, and especially when you look at the Mandukya Upanishad. It analyzes your own existence in this way. It says, when you are in the Jagrata Avastha, when you are in the waking state, what do you see? You see the gross body, right? You see the gross body and operate based on the gross body. But when you fall asleep, when you go to sleep, you see dreams. You are in a dream state. In that dream state, do you have the gross body? Is the Sthula Sharira there? It is not there. Because, and you can realize this, especially, I hope it is not happening during this lecture, but generally during lectures, you will see that slowly your eyes begin to close. Your eyes begin to close and you start moving from the Jagrata Avastha to Swapna Avastha. You're going into a sleep state. In that in-between state, you will realize that for a moment, you will forget your body. Your body no more exists for you. The physical body is no more existing for you. And you go into a dream state. In the dream state, you have a dream body. Because in the dream state also you are seeing a world. You are seeing a very different world. That is why you say in the dream state, I ran, I did this, I did that. Who did this? The physical body did not do it. Then who did it? There is a dream body. A Swapna Sharira is there. So that Swapna Sharira is also able to see, is also able to smell, is also able to go, is also able to run. So all that you are talking about as your Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, they also operated in your dream state. When your physical legs and hands were not moving, still you were running and holding things in your dream state. So this is the proof to say that while the legs, hands and everything are physically present, their essence or the Shakti is present in the Sukshma Sharira. It is not present in the Sthula Sharira. So even though the eyes, the physical eyes might be here, the power of the eyes to see is there in the Sukshma Sharira. It is there inside. That is why even if the physical eyes are there, you are not able to see because the power of sight is lost. In a blind person, the power of sight or seeing is lost. Why? The physical eyes are still there. Why can't the person see? Because the power which doesn't lie in the physical body, the power is lying in the Sukshma Sharira. So the Sukshma Sharira has got the power of the Karmendriyas, the Jnanendriyas, the Panchaprana, along with Manas, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankara. All of these together constitute the Sukshma Sharira. And that is called the Linga Sharira, and all of this operate in your dream state. When you are in your dream state, all these things operate and you are able to create a dream world. Is this it? Is this the final thing? In the normal case, actually, we very few of us would have experience beyond this. In our normal day-to-day existence, we keep oscillating between the waking state and the dream state. From dream state, again you come back to waking state. You're constantly operating between waking state and dream state, Jagrat and Swapna. But there is an avastha which is beyond the Swapna avastha also, which is called as Sushupti or deep sleep. It is a state where you are asleep and there is no dream, a dreamless state. In modern psychology, they say that unless you go to this Sushupti avastha or this dreamless state, your problems will not get solved. Because if you are constantly oscillating between just the Jagrata avastha and Swapna avastha, very soon you might become a lunatic or insane. Your insanity levels might increase because you're constantly, your mind is operating either in the Jagrata avastha or in the Swapna avastha. In Sushupti avastha is the only state where everything goes into laya. It just sleeps off. The mind sleeps, the buddhi sleeps, everything sleeps. There is no dream. Then what is there? You don't know. You only say, when you get up, you say that I had a very sound sleep. You know, when we make these statements, we say that I had a very sound sleep. What do you mean by sound sleep? Sound sleep means it was a dreamless sleep. There was no dream to disturb you. You actually, when you are coming out of a sound sleep, you come with more energy and enthusiasm. You are more refreshing. You seem more rejuvenated because you are coming from Sushupti. That is the avastha, that is the dreamless sleep state. In that avastha, none of these upadhis exist. But still, there is darkness because you don't see anything, you don't experience anything. So there is lack of experience, there is presence of ignorance. These are the three shariras, and that is called as Karana Sharira or the causal body. So Vedanta analyzes these three shariras through your own experience. It says, do the experiment and find out for yourself these three shariras. So there is a Sthula Sharira. Inside the Sthula Sharira, there is a Sukshma Sharira. Inside the Sukshma Sharira, there is a Karana Sharira. And then Vedanta says, inside that Karana Sharira also there is something. But unfortunately, you don't know what is there inside that Karana Sharira, because that thing that is inside that Karana Sharira is giving you glimpse here and there. Because Karana Sharira, you are not knowing anything. There is a sort of darkness. When that darkness goes away and the real truth is shown, you come to know what is behind these three shariras. So this is the analysis of the self through the Sharira method. The other analysis method is called as the Panchakosha method. Is the analysis through the Panchakoshas. Again, it is very similar, but it goes more in detail. It again starts with the outer layer. Kosha means layer. It says there are 5 layers to this existence. The outermost layer is called as Annamaya Kosha. That is the kosha, the layer that is formed because of food. By eating of food, by nourishment, this layer has been formed. Inside this layer is the Pranamaya Kosha. If you go deeper, is the Pranamaya Kosha. That is the kosha that is where your breath, your breathing, your prana, apana, vyana, udana, so all these vayus are present. And they perform different functions. The aspect of breathing, the circulation of the blood, digestion, excretion, reproduction, all of these various functions in the body are performed by these pranas or vital airs. There is a beautiful story that comes in the Upanishad, right? Where Bhrigu approaches Varuna. It's called as Bhrigu in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhrigurvai Vaharunihi. He goes and approaches and he says, please tell me that ultimate truth. So the Varuna says, go and do tapas. Go and do penance and find out for yourself What is your ultimate nature? What is your true nature? So first, Bhrigu comes back and tells this, that I am this Annamaya Kosha. I am this outer sheath, outer layer. Varuna says, no, that is not the right answer. Go back and do more examination. Then he says, he goes deeper inside himself and he finds that there is another layer, which is this Pranamaya Kosha, this vital layers, this breathing and these all activities that are performed inside. He goes and reports back and says, I am that. Varuna says, no, you have still not attained the right answer. Go back again and go deeper investigation. Inside the Pranamaya Kosha, inside the layer of breathing and the various vital airs, you find what is there inside are your thoughts. Deeper inside are the thoughts. That is called Manomaya Kosha. That is a layer which is full of thoughts. This is the kosha that throws open various possibilities. Sankalpa, Vikalpa. It gives you options, it tells you this might happen, that might happen, this could be the possibility, that could be the case. All these options are thrown open in the Manomaya kosha. He goes and says, that is me. Varuna says, no, that is not you. When you go deeper inside the Manomaya kosha, you find out that there is a deeper intelligence inside the thoughts. Thoughts are fleeting. Thoughts are coming and going. But there is a deeper intelligence that is telling what is the right way to go. What is the right path to go. Is this the right thing to do or that is the wrong thing to do? So that is a deeper intelligence which is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. When he goes back and says that, Varuna says he is expecting that at least this would be the right answer. But Varuna says no, this is also not the right answer. When he goes deeper, he says that even within that intelligence, behind that intelligence, there is a layer of happiness. There is a layer of peace, which is this Karana Sharira, the Sushupti Avastha. There is this layer of peace. And he says that peace is me. And there actually the Upanishad ends. But ultimately, the analysis is that even that is not you. Because it is just Anandamaya, it is just giving you glimpse of Ananda. But there is something even more deeper. So these two analyses, one is the Sharira Lakshana or Sharira way of analyzing, and there is a Kosha, Pancha Kosha way of analyzing. The Annamaya Kosha is largely related with the Stula Sharira. The Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha are largely related with the Sukshma Sharira or the Linga Sharira. And the Anandamaya Kosha is largely related with the Karana Sharira. So this is the understanding how to bring these two together. How to bring the Sharira and the Koshas together. The Linga Sharira has got three of the Koshas. The Annamaya Kosha is with the Stula Sharira and the Anandamaya Kosha is with the Karana Sharira. So why is this understanding important? This understanding is important to tell you that you are not any of this. Why you have to tell you are not any of this? Because today you are assuming you are all of this. Because today, if you are asked or if you were to yourself analyze who you are, you would start with the body. Because this body forms a basic part of your definition. Of your identity is this body. Without this body, can you imagine yourself today? Can you imagine yourself without this physical existence? Not possible, right? Without this physical existence, who am I? I don't exist anymore. That is why we say when Mrityu comes, I cease to exist. But no, you don't cease to exist because you have identified yourself with this body. The body ceases to exist, you assume you have also stopped ceasing to exist. So, our assumption today, our identity today, our identification today starts from the physical body. We believe we are the physical body. That is why if anything that happens to this physical body, we say it has happened to me. If somebody slaps or hits this physical body, how do you say? That person hit me. That person slapped me. That is the physical action. Then you go further ahead and say, that person insulted me. That person misbehaved with me. Now this is a further analysis you have done in your Manomaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha, and you have identified that whatever that person did is actually an insult. You have given a name to it. And you have also given the fact that insult is bad. Insult is the wrong thing to do, and that person has done that wrong thing to me. So, starting right from the physical action to interpreting this physical action and attributing all of that to us. That is the job of our identification with this physical body, with this subtle body, and with the causal body. We have been identifying ourselves with all these three bodies. And today our existence is all these three things. So, when the Shishya is asking, what is Bandha? This is Bandha. That you have identified yourself with all these bodies, you've identified yourself with all these things, that is the Bandha. See, today, when you look at, when something happens, there is a beautiful example. You have a car. You have bought a very expensive car. The car was parked on the road. Somebody by mistake came and hit the car. The moment you know that somebody has hit the car, you start getting agitated because your car has been hit by somebody. Immediately there is a sense of agitation, anger, and so many things that come inside you. Within a year's time, you sell off the car to somebody else. After you sell off, the very next day, that car is again hit by somebody. And that person comes and tells you, the car that you sold to me yesterday was hit by something today. What is your reaction? Thank God I sold it. So the agitation that you had earlier, which you said that my car was hit, is that agitation there anymore? Not there. But the car is still the same, isn't it? The same car that was there 1 year before, it is the same car that is there even today. So that Vastu hasn't changed, but what has changed? Your relationship with that Vastu has changed. That means, at that point you assumed this is mine. Just because you assumed it is mine, all agitations began inside you. The moment you decided this is not mine, all agitation stopped. So, assuming that this is mine is the bandha, and leaving out that this is not mine is liberation. That is vairagya. Vairagya is to say this is not mine, I don't care about it anymore. The moment you don't care about it, whatever happens to that does not affect you, does not impact you. You are at peace. It cannot trouble you anymore. So when we said earlier titiksha, all the troubles of the world are affecting you. Through this Panchakosha analysis, what do you say? Something has happened to my body. But the body is not me. The body is not me. It should not affect me. Even if something happens to this body, it cannot affect me. Even if something happens to my mind, that means somebody has insulted me and the mind has got agitated, but the mind is not me. The mind is not mine. That is the Vedanta Vichara. The reason for Vedanta to split and distinctively show that you are not any of these three shariras or any of these panchakoshas is for you to objectively see these things. Today we are not able to objectively see these things because we assume this is all me. Annamaya kosha is me, the pranamaya kosha is me, the manas is me, the buddhi is me, the hankara is me. So if anything happens to any of these things, it happens to me. But Vedanta says these are all different from you. The reason for this analysis is to say that everything is different, is prithak, is very different. You are not any of these. Once you know that you are not any of these, anything happens to them, why should it affect you? That is the yukti, that is the way or the approach for us to get liberated. So here, Acharya says, in practical terms, how do we really practice all of these things? See, we have spoken a lot of Vedanta Shastra. We have spoken about the highest ideals. What is the takeaway for us? What is it that we can start with? What are the few things we can start doing in our daily life? First thing Acharya says, this vichara, that this analysis that we just spoke about, we have to do this analysis slowly and steadily every day in whatever form we can, constantly bringing this analysis into our head. We will forget it. It is but natural for us to forget it. But again, we'll have to bring it back. And we'll have to constantly contemplate. To do that, Acharya says, do three things. Lokanuvartanam, Dehanuvartanam, Shastranuvartanam, Tyajet. Give up. Give up what? Give up Lokanuvartanam. Getting involved in the worldly activities beyond a limit. Whatever obligations you have, it could be social obligations, professional obligations, personal obligations, whatever they are. Identify what are the real essential things that you are required to do. Give up the unessential things. Give up things that are not essential. Give up things that are not necessary. Give up things that are not required. Detach yourself away from those. Don't get yourself into more trouble. Lokanuvartanam tyajet. Dehanuvartanam. Don't pamper your body beyond a limit. Don't give importance to your body beyond a limit. Your body is only a sadhana. You know, there is a famous verse, Paropakarartham idam shariram. It is only for a particular purpose it has come. In fact, Tulsidas in the Ramacharita he says, the body is nothing but a result of prarabdha karma. This body has been, this physical body has come into existence as a result of your prarabdha karma. Your prarabdha karma means the karma that you did in your previous birth, that is finding the results or fruits of action now. Prarabdha karma means the karma that has already begun to materialize. You cannot do anything in that karma. You cannot stop that karma. That karma will anyway give fruit. Whatever you do, that result will come. You have to bear the fruit of that result. It is for bearing the fruit of that result, this body has come into existence. So Tulsidas says, Prarabdha came earlier, this Sharira came later, why should I bother? This Sharira has come to enjoy Prarabdha. Let it enjoy Prarabdha. What is my relation with either Prarabdha or the Sharira? Let Prarabdha do its job. Let Sharira do its job. Let me do my job. Let me do my job of chanting Ramanama, he says. Let me surrender myself to Raghuvira and let Prarabdha do its job and let do Sharira its job. Prarabdhaya samarpitam tva vapuhu. Surrender your body, your physical body to Prarabdha. Surrender your body means what? Let the body enjoy or suffer based on its Prarabdha. Don't interfere. If something is happening to the body, something untoward has happened to the body, understand that this is a result of Prarabdha and leave it at that rather than trying to make it right or set it right. That is called Dehanuvartanam. Shastranuvartanam, not reading too much, not reading 100 books, 1000 books and getting confused. Rather than read a few things that are simple and easy to understand and are giving you the direction. Once the direction is given, stop reading. Why do you want to keep on reading and confuse yourself with more things? Once the direction is clear, go around. So that is what first Acharya says, reduce complications in your life. Make your life more simpler. Always be watchful. Be ever vigilant. We spoke about the Vishayas, your sensory organs going outside. Be watchful. What are they getting attracted towards? How do I stop those attachments? How do I stop my sensory organs from going out? How do I stop this mind from constantly getting attracted to various things? Be ever watchful. As I said, go through the prarabdha with Atma Bala, Daiva Bala, with your own strength and with surrender to Ishvara. Surrender everything to Ishvara and titiksha, forbearance, go through the prarabdha. Stop identifying with the body. That is what we said. With the Panchakosha and everything, stop identification. This body does not belong to you. Bring it into yourself again and again. You will forget it, again bring it up. Do that Vedanta Vichara. As I said earlier, form a spiritual practice. It could be a 15-minute, it could be a 20-minute practice that you are doing every day, where you are focused, your mind is focused on something, your entire being is focused on something. It could be a Nama Japa, it could be a puja, it could be an archana, it could be a Vedanta Vichara, it could be for 15 or 20 minutes, but doing it every day without fail. That anusthana, not giving up the anusthana, not giving up the daily practice, that is helping us move towards the ultimate goal. So Acharya says, if you keep doing these few things on a daily basis, at some point of time, you will start developing the qualities that are mentioned. All these ideal qualities that are mentioned for the disciple, each of us will start getting those qualities within us, and sooner or later, the Guru will come to give the Upadesha and take us in the right direction. So this is the essence of the Viveka Chudamani. And finally, I will just end with the last shloka, which says, Samsara dhvani tapa bhanu kirana prodbhuta daha vyatha khinnanam jalakankshaya marubhuvi bhrantya paribhramyatam atyasanna sudambudim sukakaram brahmadvayam darshayati Esha Shankara Bharati Vijayate Nirvana Sandayani. It says, just like a one who is so thirsty, there is not even a drop of water that has gone into that person for many days, and that person is searching for a source of water. For that kind of a person, if he's searching in the desert, in the Marubhuvi, in that condition, it is like a nectarine water that is being shown to that person. Similarly, the one who is completely desperate and helpless and torn in this world of samsara, this Shankara Bharati, that is the word of Shankara, the Vani of Shankara. Bharati means the wisdom or the Vak, the Vani, the speech of Shankara. Esha Shankara Bharati Vijayate Nirvana Sandayini, the one that is giving that nirvana, that ultimate peace to that person who is searching for that peace, is like that nectarine water. So with this few words, we conclude this 2 days of Anusandhana on the Viveka Chudamani. As Mama was mentioning yesterday, it is impossible that in 2 days we can do any justice to this Grantha. So it is only as an overview or as an introduction to this Grantha that we have taken up these 2 days. If any of you get this opportunity to go deeper into this Grantha now, you should find that opportunity and try to go deeper into each of the shlokas or the mantras of this Grantha and make the best use of it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I must begin by thanking Sri Ramakrishnan and my colleague on the managing committee, Ravi Suryanarayanan, for having supported me when I decided that there must be a different direction given to the Shankaravani series, concentrating more on Vedanta and Prakarana Granthas. The idea to invite Dr. Chidambaran was initiated by Ramakrishnan, although we had known him personally ourselves. As I mentioned yesterday, he had been associated with the souvenir, the Shankaratnamala, and we knew that he could do justice to this topic, albeit in 2 days. My mind goes back to more than 50 years when I had seen a dry topic like Vedanta being taught by Professor T.M.P. Mahadevan, in front of whom the then Queen Mother of Greece, former Princess of Spain, and her daughter Princess Irene would sit spellbound, closed eyes. If they, being foreigners, could develop the Shat Sampat and imbibe Vedanta, being born in Bharatavarsha, being in the Sannidhi of Adi Shankara, it should not be impossible for us also to develop these qualities and take in whatever Bhagavad Pada offers through Viveka Chudamani and other granthas. I must thank Dr. Chidambaran for having taken time out and come here. The idea has been floating in the minds of like-minded people like me, Sri Punjabi Geshan, Sri Mohan Parameshwar and all, that we ought to have a detailed program on such granthas for a study group or something of that sort. Hopefully, time permitting and with your getting time also, we should start this series with you and locally available talent. I see that youngsters are in a position to offer us insights into Vedanta which we ourselves in our advanced stage might not ourselves possess. With these few words, I thank you very much for having come here and given us the insights into Viveka Chudamani. Thank you very much.